We are 7 years into my determined push to finally live my dream and make a feature-length motion picture, and we are now 90 full days into 2025. Let's see where we are. It has indeed been 90 days since 2025 began, and the year is absolutely flying. I was warned when I was younger that the years would go faster the older you get, and that is true. I have noticed, though, that they go even faster when you set goals. I noticed this when I first started setting fitness goals long ago. I said, I want to lose this amount of weight or gain this amount of strength in this amount of time, and suddenly the time was gone. And it does apply to other goals as well, and one of them is this film. And I was just thinking, in an earlier version of this video you'll never see because my battery pack died as I was talking, so I am starting over here. But maybe that means this will be a little more fluid, because the previous one was a lot of stumbling over my words. But anyway, what I started musing on, what I realized after I started running the camera, so it was very spontaneous, was I don't have a specific goal. I don't think I've stated a specific goal for this film for 2025. Where do I want to be as December 31st of this year ends? I think it would be overly optimistic to expect the film to be done, because that would include all of the shooting, all of the editing, and then refine that editing, refine the color timing and the image quality, a full audio mix, and that would include the music score. I don't think that's happening in 2025. Now, if it did, by some miracle, if suddenly God just dropped everything I needed in my lap, including the money, I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't get to the end of the year and say, something's wrong, throw this out, and start over. But I think more optimistic, challenging, but possible, would be how do I describe it? There's a term for editing. There's various terms. There's a final cut, which means the film is done. It's ready to go. It's ready to send to theaters or video, wherever it's going, the final cut. But along the way, there are rough cuts. And I don't know if Hollywood has specific terms for a first rough cut and a second rough cut, and maybe they're just numbered like that. I don't know. I want what I'm going to call a full rough cut. And I am defining a full rough cut as it has all the shots that I want. Maybe it's missing graphics, title overlays. If I want, I don't know what I would even want, but if I want things on the screen, maybe it's missing those. But it's got all the footage in place. Even the editing may need refining, may need to shift this or that, may need to switch shots. But I look at it and I go, yes, that to me is the film. That is the picture, that's all the footage. That's the film as it's going to be in order after we put in the graphics, put in the music, shift things around and say, yeah, just like that. I'd like to be able to say we don't have to run the camera anymore. I don't have to get out the camera, film another interview, reshoot a scripted portion. We have that. So I'm going to define that as a full rough cut. I am my own studio. I can make up these terms if I want to. So where are we? How are we getting there? What happened last week? Last week I almost got another interview, and it was a very good one. He came by and we had a lovely talk, and he's got quite a story, quite a history of overcoming injuries, overcoming concussions, multiple concussions, a career of driving in a truck, and all of the just the damage that did to being sedentary for so long. And then he left, and I noticed that I did not have any of the audio. Technically, the Sony FX30 has an onboard microphone, but he was seated far enough away. I put it in the computer. I tried it with DaVinci Resolve's audio. They have a very good filter. It's practically AI in its ability to go in and remove all the excess noise that isn't your dialogue. But even at its best, it was not doing it. The final result sounded very, oh my goodness. The final result sounded very compressed, and I couldn't use it. So I immediately texted him and see if he'd come back for another one. He said, yes, we haven't scheduled it. But the problem is, and I like this little device. I've seen other people use it. I bought it when the audio handle that comes, or that you can purchase specifically for the Sony FX30, created by Sony, broke. I'll talk about it. Well, maybe I'll talk about it now. What time is it? Anyway, they make a really cheap audio accessory so that you can plug in XLR cables. So you can buy it, and it attaches to the FX30. And it's this cheap plastic. It's really bad. And I discovered how bad when, on a very windy day, when I was out trying to shoot a commercial, the camera got blown over. And I cannot tell you the panic that I went through, because it fell face forward and I was standing out in a desert area with some lava rock. Praise God, the only thing that happened was a piece of the rim of the lens got cracked. The camera is at 100%. The lens works just fine. I just can't put the lens cap on because part of the plastic rim got crushed inward. I can probably go in there with some pliers or something and pull it back out. I just haven't gotten to that. So the lens is fine, camera's fine, but it meant I needed a new piece of audio thing, because that's what broke. That's what really shattered, was this horribly cheap thing. I got on Sony. I got on the website to get another one. They wanted $500 or $600 for this thing. So that's when I started shopping around, and I remembered I've seen these things. Some people on a Discord server that I'm a part of that's into film and video production recommended the Zoom. In this case, the H4n Pro recorder. They're different models, but I've seen these used in the past. In fact, I think a version of this was used by the young man who was recording audio for me for Dumb Jocks, my first, or maybe it was Men with Guns, one of my first high definition 24 frame short films that I made under the Front Row Films label. So I got one. There it is. And the problem is that when you press the record button the first time, it goes into standby, but you can hear it through the headphones. And then you press it again and it starts recording. You press it a second time, and that's when it's actually recording. So I went through this whole 25, 30-minute interview with this guy, and the audio recorder was just sitting on standby. So, okay. That's really the only news I got. I attempted to get an interview, but as tomorrow kicks in, as April 1st kicks in, that's 275 days to the end of the year, 9 full months. Think of it as a pregnancy. I am planning to give birth to what did I call it? A full rough cut by the end of December 31st. We'll see what happens. If I don't make that goal, I will be a lot further along for having tried. But in order to get ready for all of that, I'm going to cut this recording short, and I will fill in the remaining 5 minutes or so, just to give you, the viewer, some advance, some previews. I'm going to get some of the interview footage together and just show you that. as I said in a previous episode, this is not a promise that any of those people or those specific sound bites will end up in the final film, but just to kind of show you what's coming along and the kinds of content I've been getting out of the men I've been interviewing. That'll wrap up this episode. So this is goodbye from me, and I will see you next week right here on Brian's Big Movie.
My two biggest goals is to get as fit as possible, and I can't walk out the way most people can. I have to be kind of cautious because my AC joint in my left shoulder's messed up, and it messed up my knee as well from when I was doing wildland firefighting. So I can't really do a handful of things. I can still work out, but I have to get it more creative, essentially. I want to be able to do what's it called when you grab the pole and then you go up, do a pull up, and then you push down? Muscle up, yeah. I used to be able to do 26 pull-ups in a row before I destroyed my AC joint. As of right now, I'm actually currently fasting for a few days. But when I do eat, because right now I'm eating anywhere between 3,000 to 3,500 calories a day when I do eat. And I kind of just eat everything. I don't really care. As long as I work out enough and eat enough, it should be fine. Get enough protein in. Once you get the protein in, then you can eat anything else. That's how I see it.
A few months ago, I was talking to a few of my friends, and they're all, in their 40s, getting older, and they're not in the healthiest shape. They're getting a lot of hospital visits and whatnot. And the fact is, they don't have healthy lifestyles. And even when I was in the Army from 2011, I messed up, sorry.
So when I was in the Army?
So when I was in the Army, from 2003 to 2011, I used to work out all the time and stuff. I was pretty physically fit, but then I haven't been to the gym since then. And now that I'm 37, I'm about to turn 38. I know I'm getting to the age where if I don't change my lifestyle, I'm not, I want to be able to live. I'm just getting too old. And so I decided to start getting healthier. My diet has changed a little bit. I do eat a lot more salads, just plain turkey, cheese, lettuce sandwiches. I haven't been eating so much fast food. I stopped eating like the burgers, the pizzas all the time. Because before it was every other day. Now I just keep it to like once, twice a week. And so that slightly has changed, but not a lot. I'm still drinking my Monsters and Pepsi. The hardest challenge was not smoking or drinking, to be honest. I've been smoking and drinking every day for the last 10, 12 years, nonstop, and I realized it was becoming a problem and it wasn't the healthiest lifestyle. And so, that was pretty hard the first 6 weeks, but now I feel great. Got a lot more energy, a lot more energetic, moving around. Before I couldn't even jump more than an inch off the ground, but now I got some hops.
I'm a very picky person, and what really ate away at me is when I went to a checkup, and when they measured my BMI? Yeah, body mass index. They measured my BMI, and it said I was 1% over compared to the other teens. I was weighing 180, but that 1% kept going, it was eating away at me from the inside. So I was homeless for a little bit a while ago, and while I was going to my school, we went into a job fair. And there's, of course, military there. They're trying to recruit people, and I was doing a bunch of push-ups and pull-ups, free stuff. And at some point when I was at the homeless shelter, the only ones that actually came to attempt to actually recruit me was the Marine Corps, and that's when I decided I wanted to join up with them. And so far, we've been in the middle of getting progress. I have a finger tattoo I'm in the middle of trying to get rid of. Yeah, it's not a pretty picture. And I believe I should be going into boot camp this year, August.